Too. Let me know when we're there.
We are now live on everything.
We're live on everywhere? Fantastic. Good morning. This is David Austin. That's my lovely assistant, wife, and partner, Kristen, behind the scenes doing all the camera and computer work. And we are simulcasting on Twitch over there, and we have Instagram over here. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. And if you're looking me up online at David Austin, you may run into some roses. So, for my whole life as an artist, I've battled the fact that David Austin Roses out of England shows up first. So that's kind of an interesting thing I thought of this morning as we were setting up all the electronic stuff. So you may notice we're in a different position today. We've rearranged the studio entirely. It's huge. We got the big 8-foot by 4-foot table in the middle right here. And my normal workstation is up there because I can see to the lake and it's pretty. But it's not really conducive when the sun's coming in and blinds the cameras. So this is where we are. I've got one of my bigger paintings in the background, 80-inch painting back here that's in process. I thought I would just have it. It's better than a blank concrete wall.
Greetings from Austria, they said.
Austria, sweet. What part of Austria? So, we're going to go someday to that and go to, what is it, Dachstein am Ramsau? I'm sorry if I brutalized that. So we can go ski on the glacier, right?
Yes.
Get some glacier skiing cross country. Love it. So today, what are we doing today? Well, other than drinking coffee out of my mug, we are going to do some collaging. Somebody wanted to see collage, and I do quite a bit of it. It's a way that I kind of recenter myself, and I take older work and rehab them, recycle them. Yeah, can you turn that down a little bit? I feel like I'm fighting this lovely canned music. What I really want is classic rock and roll, but we can't play it because of, licensing.
Hello, Snellville, Georgia, and Portland, Oregon.
Sweet. So we're going to do that. We're going to do some collage. I'm going to walk you through that today. And then the next thing after that is we're going to try some brand new paper that's mounted on some board, some watercolor paper that I got in this week. I'm super excited about it. It's a lot of fun to work with. And it's a little bit nicer to deal with from the standpoint that so far I've only practiced on one sheet of it. It won't curl and wrinkle, and it's more stable than the standard watercolor paper. And it has very similar properties. So we'll talk about that at the end and do a quick demo with that one. So we're just going to get started on this. So what do we got? How do we do this? Well, one thing, we need to find a couple of old paintings, the way that I do it, that didn't quite work, and I'm tired of working on them. So we're going to do these two today. I have some backup pieces down here, just in case I want to rip those up. And then we have some little ones over here that are leftovers that sometimes I'll delve into as well. I like to, for no particular reason, I like to use the same sheets for the collage, and I think that'll make sense as we go. And here's some examples, some samples of a few others that I've done. Like this one here. And so we're recycling the artwork, in my opinion, and that's a lot of fun to do. Hopefully you can see some of these okay. Whoa. And so how do we get to those points? And there's a lot of other kinds of things you can do with collage. We're going to be limited with just this watercolor paper and the paint, the mixed media paints. And I'm going to be working on this here, Kristen, and here, so I don't know if you can catch me, because you know how I move. So today we have underneath this some parchment paper. You can use, I think it's called craft paper or something else that is a non-stick waxy surface, because otherwise this will be permanently stuck to whatever surface you're working. I've got a piece of another watercolor paper right here that I'm just going to use to put the medium on. The next thing we're going to use too is some Liquitex. It is matte super heavy gel, and I like the heavy gel because these are kind of thick, and it's a way to really get things to stay, and it's really tacky right away. So we're going to work with this. Let me just open that up, set that over there, and then it's kind of weird. I got all this material right here handy, and then I have a palette knife. You can use a brush if you want. The palette knife is easy to clean. And I've got a little knife just in case I need to cut some things up. And that's about it. That's how we're going to start. Okay? So, the first thing to do is to not have a plan. And then the next thing to do is rip up your old paintings. Just like that. Because that's the fun part, right? And the trick is to kind of just start laying in some structure, some of these pieces, and don't get too caught up in what they're looking like at first. And this is going to be a little more of a slow burn today than the paintings are, because it takes time to layer and build this up. So we may not actually finish this piece before, you know, we have to move on. So if anybody gets bored, we'll switch over to the painting part, which is fun. I don't know how filmable this part is. So there's some places on this other one that I want to keep. I like this orange, for example, so I'm going to keep some of the orange in there. And I just starting off right there, push it on. The other thing I would recommend having handy is a damp towel so you can wipe off the sticky medium. And I find I can't do gloves with this, even though I would like to have gloves with it. And let's do another thing here. I like to incorporate some circles. So we're going to do a circle piece. You can cut these. You can take and I want to poke a hole in here so I can rip it. Some people cut them up with different kinds of knives. I like to tear because I like kind of this decal edge as we go around. And I'll try to be more aware of everybody's views today. So we'll do a little painting at the end. Now we have another piece to play with, and I think we're going to take and do another circle. So did anybody get their materials together for this exercise today? Just curious, we put out a video, or not a video, we put out a newsletter, a notice online too, about the kind of materials that we might be using. Because I plan once in a while. And if you hear some banging upstairs, it's because we got our youngest son, his playroom is right above our workshop here. And I made some ice cubes with little frozen dinosaurs in them. It's so cold, I went outside and froze them overnight, and he loves to bang them apart, and it's a way that the teenager can engage him and not be too active, because teens are definitely at a different schedule than us. So, come around there.
Let's try this.
Anybody that went to the YouTubes, thank you so much to actually link into it, and where our subscribers are increasing on that, and we're so grateful for that. We haven't spent a lot of time on that like we have the Instagram, so it really hasn't had the chance to grow as much. Okay. Oh, that's some rock out music.
Oh, I was tired of the ethereal.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. It doesn't keep me moving fast enough for everybody.
No, I was like, he's getting too slow. We gotta speed him up.
That's right. Faster. Create art faster.
It's like when you go to spin cycle.
They changed the...
Yeah.
Looked like it was kind of a crazy morning for you up there this morning, Kristen.
He was a little nuts.
Yeah. I heard a little bit of it. Our eldest was late. He stays in our cottage on the property. We call it Adult Light.
He's got his own little tiny house. Not his, it's ours.
It's ours, yeah. Everything is ours. During COVID, we just...
yeah, he was supposed to go to college this year, but it didn't happen.
No,
so.
it did not. So we're still supporting him.
In exchange, he babysits Saturday morning, so we can do this.
Yes, he's supposed to be here on time. So I'm just going to use the corner in there. And what I like about this is if I have a painting that I just can't seem to get a grip on, and it doesn't have any structure, and I've worked it to death, and it's just, see how that curls up? You got to go back once in a while and push that down. then this is a way to get some of that structure back into the piece. And that white is a big part of it. So this white edge that comes from the paper ripping is part of the reason that we can get a little bit more structure in there.
Ah, Brazil, welcome.
Sweet.
Tell me that at least you're warm.
Yeah, it should be. Wouldn't it be like there's summer down there?
Should be. Maybe it's too warm. Maybe you just have opposite problems.
Yeah. So this piece of paper that I'm working on right here, and you can see all the medium is getting spread around it on it. What will be interesting, and I'll show you that at another time, is that after this dries, I can pull paint over this. You've seen me do that technique. And that paint pulling will actually be very interesting in regards to because the medium will resist absorbing some of that paint in there. So I often will work, I don't like to waste materials, as some of you know, and so I often work in a way that is thinking ahead a bit, and it'll actually, the scraps, if you will, of the piece I'm working on now, will actually inform the next piece and the next piece and the next piece. And that's really, I think, a great way of working. Right, so
by the way, everybody, the landscaped version of this will be on YouTube this afternoon, and you can add subtitles there. So
yes.
if you're having trouble keeping up with the English, which, because I know a lot of you don't speak English as a first language, we are recording separately, so you can see it later.
Well, that's fun. Look at that piece. Nice. And maybe we should have done a little bit smaller. So we're doing a 22 by 30 inch, and I don't know what that is in centimeters, sorry.
We're going to have to start buffing up on our
Yeah, I got to get my metrics.
system.
I haven't really since high school, and that was a few years ago. High school was definitely a few years ago for me.
Anybody have any questions today?
Yeah. And there can be other questions, things that we've done in the past too, if you want me to answer. I can talk and create. Sort of. Somebody asked me some of the line qualities that I'm doing in the other pieces. It's almost like a random nature. And the influence that I didn't even know was influencing me. I guess he's not really an influence, but I felt validated, maybe was more the term that I would use. When somebody, a really good friend of mine, pointed out that it reminded him of Elmer Bischoff. And a great artist. I think he was out in California ultimately, but he came from Europe. And he had a period of time where he was doing just these lines that kind of wandered around the piece. But they made sense. You may have to do some camera work to keep people interested, I don't know. And
the glue is a Liquitex matte super heavy gel.
And it doesn't really matter if you use matte. You can use a gloss too. That would change the look of the piece as well.
I just wrote that down for everybody.
Stay. This really wants to grow up today. A lot of times I'll use a cheaper paper. Like a lot of the studies that I do in the sketchbooks and on the loose leaf will often end up in the like this is an example of one that's going to get torn up probably. So this is just out of a sketchbook, and it's a lighter grade paper. It's a little easier actually to work with. This is really heavy. This is 140 pound watercolor paper, and it does not want to budge as much. So I'm not going to worry a lot about things hanging off the edge. Sometimes I'll even leave that there. I like to break the edge of the canvas, or in this case the paper, once in a while.
Everybody, also on Friday mornings, I send out a newsletter listing the supplies you'll need for the Saturday. So if anybody wants to head over to the website and sign up, I don't spam you. You get one email a week.
No spamming allowed here.
Yep, so.
We don't like it either. Yeah, so it's a whopping 50 degrees in here today. I have my best long underwear underneath this hoodie. And this is one of our designs that Kristen does of our apparel, which you can see on our website, davidaustingallery.com. Look at this little random piece. Sometimes you just got to add a little bit of a randomness to it.
And a real quick shout out to everybody who bought us a piece of paper this week. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was very helpful actually, because we did get paper in.
Yeah.
This is the 22 by 30 inch paper. It's not super expensive stuff. It's not a super high quality. It's mass produced, but it is cotton rag. And this is it's actually from Blick Art Materials, and I believe there is a art supply house, a Blick art supply house in England.
The UK?
And so in the UK, yeah. So that was kind of cool to find out. Somebody was asking us where we can get some of these things, and that's one of them.
Here's a...
Now, if you're in the States, Jerry's Art-O-Rama is pretty cool too. We've gotten some stuff from them recently. And once again, we are not actually sponsored by anybody, but we sure would consider it. It gets expensive doing any of this stuff. And consistent. One of the reasons we had to do buymeacoffee.com is, you know, it's kind of expensive to consistently produce content because you're using a lot of material up.
Oh.
And it goes quick. And we have little shorter pieces on the Marabou art crayons, for example, if you go to our IGTV or YouTube. We also have some stuff on, what's the other one that we do a lot with, YouTube. So there's often different views on YouTube. So we're just building more and more layers up, and I'm kind of lining up some of the edges. So some of the white edges, the more layers we get, the more interesting I think it starts to become, because I'm taking this line here and I'm lining that one up. Now I'm creating direction through the piece. When I'm doing this on my own, I just have really good tunes going, whatever's inspiring me that day, and I will get into a zone, you know, just let it happen. I'm still trying to keep that sense of improvisation in the work, because that's my work, you know. I've tried to be very structured in the past because I felt like I had something to prove, and I did it. Realism and the figurative pieces. Kristen's seen these from previous life. You know, go to life drawing workshops and things, and pay for models and stuff, and I did all that. Did paintings and drawings with that for a while, but it didn't hold my interest. And that's funny when people always criticize abstract artists and say, well, it's because they can't do realism. No, it was a conscious choice on my part. Okay, I really, really respect people that are doing realism, especially hyper-realism, because oh my God, the time and the dedication and the lack of ADHD you have to have, which, as everybody in here knows, is definitely a thing for me. So I wanted to keep some of the orange in there. Don't be afraid to cover the layers up that you've already put down. I mean, that's the whole point. Even if you can't see that previous layer all the way, you'll, on a certain level, know it. And your viewers are going to know that too. You can tell. It's like when you go to the museum or something and you're walking through, or an art show, for example. Some of you probably have experienced this. And you can basically just cruise along through the art show and, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And then the one thing that grabs you and you go to it. And it has a certain, what is it, je ne sais quoi. Sorry if I brutalized that, my French fans. That you can't really put a finger on, right? So one of the things that makes an art piece really timeless or stick with you is the involvement that the artist has. It's not just the fact that they have years and years of experience behind it, and you can sense that in the piece, how they lay the piece down, how they do a line. All of that speaks to their experience, and just, as Kristen says, butt in chair, right?
Yep.
budding chair. That's how you get better, as you work and you work and you work. And my point being, what is my point? I have a point here somewhere I was going.
That you can cover layers because the emotion is still sensitive.
Yeah, exactly. You sense it when you see it. You know it. People are, especially intuitive type people, will know that effort that was in there. Does that make sense, everybody?
I don't know. Quiet group today.
You got another screen going probably somewhere. I might have to get another color in here actually to do something a little different. And we might switch over to the painting sooner than I thought. This is kind of reminding me of that time we tried to do finishing techniques. And it was like crickets. It was like having crickets out in the audience.
There was no audience that day.
There was no audience that day.
There was 0 people for an hour. It was painful.
Painfully.
So painful. But we've since learned that we have to operate on European time schedules.
That helps.
That was the problem that night.
Yeah.
8 p.m. our time was what, like 2 a.m. in Europe?
It didn't work too well.
No.
Anybody overseas, what time is it over there? I'm just curious from everybody. What time people work. So an interesting thing is happening here. It's very green, and I'm losing some contrast, and so I'm gonna maybe try to add some contrast a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting. They're quiet because they're actually working.
Are you guys working?
Doing art with you. Normally very talkative.
They are?
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that.
That's foot stamp.
Foot stamp?
Her name is Bella, but I call her foot stamp.
You guys are working too? That's great. All right. So one of the things, I've got these circles that I did, which is interesting. It gives you a little bit different view in there. And you can actually draw or paint within these circles. This becomes a window, a view of something that either you wanted to highlight on the previous piece or you want to go back into and actually do some more work on. And I have some of my Posca markers. I was going to keep this for a surprise for later, but I got some of the big Poscas, the big broad ones that I just got in, and I got a crinked metallic. And we're going to mess this up some more in a little bit. That was a surprise. I didn't tell you guys about that, so you have a chance to get your Poscas out. I know several of you have bought them already. And that is really cool.
Scent free, which is what I like. Well, mostly scent free.
Mostly scent free. This is unusual. I don't normally like, so I have a nice curve right here, arc, and I almost want to add this really strong bifurcation right down the middle. But it's kind of repeated over on this side too. Let's just do it. You can always make another piece. I'm grooving on this music.
Are you, or should I change it?
No, actually, this is all right. Oh man, if you can't have fun, what the heck, you know? You gotta have fun doing this. Laughter opens your creative chakra. I don't even know if that's the thing.
Oh, that's so sweet. She
like
says shoe stamp, foot stamp.
Shoe stamp.
I'm actually making you an Adidas shoe stamp.
Oh, really?
And putting it on a block of wood and sending it to David when it's done.
Oh, that is very sweet. Wow, thank you. So you were the one that made me stomp on the art last week. The funny thing is I did it yesterday too.
Yeah, we did it again.
We were recording stuff for the reels. But I did it. I'm going to make a tiny hole. We were talking about kind of highlighting places, and I think I'm going to actually try this and do a tiny hole. Get started with a knife. Watch your fingers on that, kids. Always have a parent or guardian help you with that.
Which means David's out of luck.
Yeah. Well, that's funny and sad at the same time.
I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah, it's been a hard year for us. But my mom, bless her heart, she would have loved this. And actually, I had planned to do some videos with her before she had passed away last March. And not to bring the mood down or anything.
I didn't mean that. This is why I don't get invited to parties, people.
It's true.
It is true.
When would we have the time for a party anymore? So this is an eye within an eye. It's kind of fun.
I'm going to just zoom in here on the other camera.
So a lot of this is intuitive reactions, as I've mentioned before, but there's also conscious decisions that are happening very quick. So in this case, when I laid this piece down here, I was highlighting this 90-degree angle that's happening with the other pigments underneath this. And then I also was looking at this surround here and creating a little more visual interest. So by taking this distance around this round one and making it narrow to wide and then back to narrow, you're creating a sense of depth, okay? So we're playing little tricks with the eyes. And this is something that I've been working on a lot more. Previously, I'm doing these abstracts. I've been very flat, very level. And now, one of the new things I've been doing, in addition to working with metallics, which is fun, I posted a picture earlier today about using some metallics and how the light changes on it. But the other thing I've been doing is how to create more depth, or the appearance of depth in it, and the tricks that we can play. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. It's not kind of what I am doing, it's what I'm doing, I hope.
Thank you, Mariam.
So, create a little more structure in here, like this. I've left this straight edge. This is a change in what would you call it, the quality of the line. So now we have something that gives you a little more attention. But this repeats this line here. We've got a straight edge here, another straight edge there, another straight edge there. So by doing that, repeating that form through the piece in a certain way, in this case almost a triangle, it is a triangle, 1, 2, 3 points of this particular kind of quality, line quality, that will help create visual interest as you're going along. So these are basic theories of aesthetics, I guess would be one way to put it, of creating. We all are kind of wired similarly within the context of our socioeconomic exposure. How we are raised culturally, for example, also will affect our aesthetics and opinions on aesthetics. But there are certain physiological responses that all of us have to what is happening when we look. Okay, there's certain things that happen when the light comes into the eye, and the brain processes that light and creates the images in our head and so forth. And then it's overlaid with our subjective experiences, what we're actually viewing. So, and then why do we like that piece? Why do we not like that piece? Those sorts of things. I'm going to rotate this around this piece here because I'm running out of...
I live in India and I am using Favicol.
What are they using?
Favicol? F-A-V-I-C-O-L.
I'm going to look that up. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, I dropped a piece. Oh. I really want to add more color to this, but I was trying to stay slightly more monochromatic today. And I'm not sure this is going to work.
Hi, Shabana. Yeah, we're just playing around and working on learning how to do a new technique. We're not really aiming to make...
Finished.
Yeah.
Although it probably will, even if I don't finish it.
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood, Shabana. You meant Favicol's terrible.
Oh,
carpenters use it to fix wood.
Oh, it's like an adhesive?
Must be.
It must be like an adhesive. That's
yeah,
fascinating.
the reason we use the Liquitex heavy gel medium here is because, well, it's invisible once it's dry, which is nice.
Yes.
It doesn't have a huge odor, and it seems to keep the paper pretty flat.
Here's the thing. Don't let a lack of materials or the, quote here, let me use air quotes, correct material dictate to you whether or not you're being creative. Use whatever you've got available. If you don't have a Liquitex, extra heavy, super heavy matte gel, find something else. Do Elmer's glue. It doesn't matter. The point is that you want to be involved in that process because you're learning. So even if you don't have a particular material that we use, it doesn't mean that you can't use similar techniques, of laying this out. And you've got to keep working. It's like we've said over and over, butt and seat, butt and seat.
Yeah,
your butt in the seat and making stuff.
And sometimes that alternative material that you're using will turn out to be something surprising and you learn something fabulous from it. So
exactly my point. Exactly right. Well said, Kristen. Because we, part of creating is not necessarily doing the same thing over and over, but it's exploration. It's play. And I was so you guys fired me up so much. Even if only one of you is working with me right now online, and I hope there's more of you doing it than just one. that fired me up. I'm like super excited for you right now. It's so awesome. So this was interesting. Again, here's the white, and now I've created another little bit of a window over here by using the white lines of the torn paper. And I find that really intriguing. And then we have a very straight line here on the edge. That's nice. Okay. Well, that's a big block of something happening there.
Start wearing fingerless gloves down here because my hands are so cold. The autofocus doesn't want to read my finger.
I'm gonna put heat right underneath here next time.
Start standing on a cat heat pad.
Okay, so this is kind of interesting. This really changes that corner. And again, I liked this piece that I put in here, but I want to do something more to this. So I'm going to lay this piece in. I'm going to lay it in such a way to change the angle of this corner. But I've also covered up a big chunk of that previous piece, and I think that's okay. I'm going to leave a little space here, and I'm going to line it up here. So there's a little bit of an angle change here from this piece to this. I'm going to line it there, leave this gap so that this has its own space to live in. Okay.
Thank you for the hearts, everybody.
And if you like these videos, and I'm sorry to always sound sometimes like one of those NPR fundraisers, a telethon.
Or BBC Channel 4.
I feel like we need James Dean and Jerry Lewis out here on the floor raising money for us. Good causes those guys did. I kind of miss their little variety show they did with that.
I think variety shows are going to come back at the end of COVID because people want to see people together.
Yeah. So, does anybody remember those?
The telethons?
With Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin? I bet you some do. Jerry Lewis was huge in France, wasn't he? You loved them in France, I think it was?
I can barely even just see him in my mind's eye right now.
Am I right or wrong on that, guys? I know there's somebody from France watching this.
Well then, let me get everything in focus.
Okay.
Before you attach. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I just gotta keep up. She's trying to run 2 different cameras.
I'm working in my altered book doing collage too.
Nice.
There's some random stamps and scribbles down now using torn up black and white striped washi tape. Oh, I love that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
And then onto my torn altered Nat Geo pages. Oh, those are also fun.
Yeah, that's a good way to go too. You can get a lot. So one of the things you mentioned, black, and I have this paper, black paper. This comes in some of the packages of the paper and the blocks of paper on the backs and the fronts. And sometimes I'll rip this up and put it in too if I want super high contrast. But I'm going to try to do that with the Posca markers today. Thanks for the comment. Who was that? Somebody?
It's Bella again.
Oh, nice. Sorry. 2 cups of coffee this morning wasn't enough.
I know, I need my third. I'm like jonesing, but I'm not going up there. Maybe
No,
get
it's
a coffee
quiet
pot in the basement.
It's quiet upstairs too, which is both a good thing and
Terrifying. What are they doing?
I know.
Every parent out there is like,
what are
yes,
the kids?
it's quiet. Enjoy
Something's wrong.
30 seconds and then go, oh my God, what are they doing?
Yeah, about the time you start to relax because you don't hear the chaos happening anywhere is about the time you have to run and figure out what is happening. All right, what did they get into?
Did you make that sweatshirt? Yes, we did. Oh, hi, Danae. Still love that song, by the way.
Danae!
Hey, if anybody hasn't checked her out, Danae, drop your link in there. She is an amazing musician. Go check her out.
Yeah. Yeah, we're hoping she'll come up and do a little artist in residency
this summer.
As
Yeah, you don't know that yet, Danae, but we'd love to have you.
Oh, we didn't tell her yet? Well, now you know. On live television. Surprise!
We'd love to have you come do a residency. Yes, we did make that sweatshirt. We make a bunch of apparel out of David's paintings and then sell them on our website.
DavidAustinGallery.com. You can link through it on our bio on Instagram.
Linktree. Yes, it really... Art can definitely be therapy, especially during stressful, chronic stress situations like the pandemic.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of a lot of sectors of business were hurt during this COVID thing, and if anybody's been directly affected, you have our empathy. We've certainly had our situation too. We're not going to talk about politics in here or anything like that, but I will say you definitely have our empathy. But the hobby industry has exploded.
Just hopefully good for us, but
yeah. Well, and everybody, the art supply houses. If you notice, I know some of you not complained, but you've mentioned, it's a complaint for me too, by the way, that you can't find the paper. Well, there's a paper shortage of this stuff happening, so get it if you can. We're stockpiled a little bit thanks to a lot of help that people bought us a piece of paper on the link, on our link in the bio. That helped a lot. We were able to get a new package of 20 2x30s. And we were really grateful for that, by the way. I know I've mentioned that a number of times, but that was really helpful.
I'm going to just type so that my fingers warm up.
Oh my.
I thought I had enough layers on, but I don't think I do.
It doesn't help your fingers. I guess it does.
I need those hot hands wrist things again.
So we have
Irish Twin Soap Coat.
Nice. We have some really exciting things coming up, so I hope a lot of you will stay tuned. We've got some actual courses that we've been developing. We've got some new content. We have a really exciting, dramatic thing we're in development on that I can't really talk about yet.
Nope.
But it's actually going to be to benefit you guys out there and gals. You guys, I use in a generalized term, and it's super exciting, but it's early stages, so I can't really talk too much about it yet. And Kristen knows what I'm talking about because we were talking about it last night. But we saw a need, and we're hoping we can actually meet it. Really like that much. Ooh, that's interesting. Now what I've done is I've created kind of a block in the corner here, which reminds me of the pulled painting pieces that I do. You know, the sectioning, square it up. Let's see, go down here with this one.
Can you put oil on a tripod?
Oil on a tripod?
Yeah, in the joints.
I suppose so. My dad's old tripod giving you grief.
Yeah, it's a little bit particular.
Well, the thing is, as old as I am, so wouldn't surprise me. That one's older than me. The Bogan right there is. Actually, I do remember when Dad got that, believe it or not. It's one of those weird little memories that I have of my...
Oh, it's old enough it doesn't even have an area code for the phone number, or zip code for the phone number. Oh, that's hilarious.
That goes back a ways.
Remember when the whole state used to be 616? Because I do.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. Well, this has been interesting. I'm getting to the point where I almost don't want to do much more to this. Oh, remember when I said I'd cover up the section?
Welcome, Malorina and De La Urel. De La. I'm going to call you De La. You know who you are.
We try. Honestly, we try. We're neophytes when it comes to language. We're terrible. We're just awful. Typical type American types. And we're embarrassed by that sometimes.
Yeah. You might need to start learning other languages.
Okay, I'm going to do something pretty radical. And remember when I said the layer is there and you'll kind of sense it's there? Well, I'm going to cover up that big section. That was a lot of contemplation for me just then. The texture, you probably can't see it real clearly over here, but what's our time like anyway? I feel like we've spent a lot of time on this.
I don't know. Well, we've got 20 minutes till we hit the hour mark, but you know.
There's no limit anymore on it though, right?
4 hours apparently is the new limit, so you could keep yakking.
Hey guys, 4 hours! Someone orders something to eat. Let's go. Let's go. Marathon session. No, I'm afraid the two kids upstairs would not.
There would be a rebellion.
I'm actually, again, surprised. I bet you Esmond talked them into some TV.
Oh, they're probably watching some new anime that will be questionable.
Better be kid appropriate. younger kid appropriate. All right, so here we go. This line in here matched up with this so nicely that I really enjoyed it, and I created a nice little shape here. But I also covered a lot of that circle that's down here, right? Crazy. It's just crazy stuff. So we're going to wrap this up soon.
Switch to that new board.
Yeah, I think we're going to switch to the new board. I was going to use the Posca on here, but I got to thinking about it. I haven't really done that into wet. The dilemma that I worry about doing it right now is that it could pick up the medium and it could clog up the pores on the felt tip, you know, the hard tips on the end of the Posca markers. So maybe that's not a good recommendation. Normally I do wait, I let this set up overnight, and then I will come back and maybe go in with some other markers or paint or add some more pieces after I look at it. But I'm getting to that point where I'm liking it, and I don't know if I want to push it much further. I do have a couple little pieces left that I might add in just because.
To anybody who's new here and doesn't follow us yet, we do this live every Saturday at the same time.
Same bat channel, same bat time. All right, who remembers that one?
Spray at home.
That goes back a ways. Adam West, and I can't remember who played Robin in that. Catwoman. It was Eartha Kitt was Batwoman or Catwoman, wasn't she? Eartha Kitt. She was one of them.
I don't know.
I know. This is showing the little bit of an age difference between the two of us kids.
Yeah, you'd have to ask me about Val Kilmer's Batman. That's for my age.
I admitted I married a little bit younger the second time around, but she's way smarter than I am anyway, so it works out all right.
Love Eartha Kitt.
Someone said that?
Yeah, Danae.
Oh, Danae? Hi,
Yeah.
Danae. How's things downstate doing? Probably cold there too. They had quite a bit. I think they had some snow the other day. My brother said he was out snowmobiling. Talk to him. Oh, I gotta call him back.
Well, now there's 11 people to hold you accountable. You have to call your brother back.
111? Did you say?
No, just 11.
Just 11. That's all we have?
People cycle in and out.
Alright, well, it's not as exciting as the painting goes today.
It's snowy, she says.
We've had several hundred in here. We've had none. You just never know, really. So I added some little chunks. I told you I was done, but I just keep going. Although I do feel like maybe we're going to be some weird music going in the back. I feel like I should go to the club.
It sounds like dial-up in the background. It's
It does, doesn't it?
It's actually painful.
Dial up. I kind of want to add one more piece here, but I'm not really liking this one section very well. So yeah, that's better.
Oh, thank you so much.
I think we're going to go back to. All right, I'm feeling the need to paint here soon. So we need to put this underneath its covers. One of the keys...
Okay, it sounds like a 1988 video game just
kicked in
on the speaker. I can't do this. I can't do it! Sorry, everybody.
Too much chaos.
She's going to share with some people. Maybe we can get to 111.
Thank you.
Hi, Article 19. Welcome.
Okay, Kristen, I have two little pieces left of that former 22 by 30. Look at that. This is it. We're done. Boom. All right, so I'm going to show you this. Kristen didn't come around. You didn't come around the other side. Could you see it okay?
Yeah, everything was good.
All right. Oh, there's Twitch over there. I kind of forgot. I don't even know if anybody's watching there yet.
Oh, no, I can't tell because we're using OBS over top of it.
Brand new. Twitch is a brand new environment for us to explore. So it's so new that we haven't even...
Have a good day at your shop, Irish Twin Soap Co.
Nice.
I will look you up later today.
Okay, so now here's key, is I'm going to cover this with some parchment or any kind of a wax release paper of some sort or another, and then I'm going to weight it down. Weight it with weight, as my wife blows on her hands to keep it from freezing. Single digits outside. That's single digits Fahrenheit. What do I do with the cardboard? Oh, here it is. No? Yes? Here it is. So I'm going to lay another piece on this. Usually I have a couple of them. And I'm going to line that up. It's the same size as the piece. Now I'm going to take some weights that I had conveniently located in the back. And these are just old pieces of tile. In this case, it's a bunch of... I'm going to have you steal a piece from behind you there, Kristen.
Okay.
Because I'm short too. They're underneath. Yeah, they're down on the 9x12s, 12x12s. They're heavy. And actually, I'm going to have to push this forward so I don't bump it as we do the next section, the painting part of the day. I told you we were going to try out this new paper, and we are. And then below you down there should be the wider tile too, and that big giant heavy monster piece.
I'm sorry, where am I looking?
Underneath the, behind you. Turn around. Turn around.
Oh, there.
Turn around the other way.
Sorry, it's all rearranged. I don't know where things are.
That's right. Brand new and completely confusing. Well, I get set up over here.
You want the cement brick?
Yes, I do. I want the giant brick. Paint over here.
It's like a kettlebell.
It's heavy. So this will help flatten the piece out as it dries. It keeps it flat. I'm going to wait till tomorrow morning and reveal this, and then I'll post some more tomorrow. I'll probably maybe work into it a little bit with the metallics, and I'm sorry we didn't use those there, but you know what? We're going to use them over here anyway. And
Hi, Wix Wacky Wonders and Romy.
So now we're going to put away that, and I highly recommend cleaning up your instrument of destruction and creation before it really gets hard on there. And the medium, periodically doing this while you're working is a good idea too, otherwise you end up with a really messed up palette knife. So, that's that. That was really exciting.
Now let's paint.
We lost a few people on that, I'm sure. Okay, so we're good? Okay. Oh, I was wrong. I had another piece I didn't put on. It's 3. Okay, so here's the new product. I told you I'm going to try to do a new product every week if we can afford it. This is a 20 by 30 inch watercolor board from Crescent. And in this case, it is a hot pressed 140 pound paper that is bound to a hard backing board. It's an archival backing board. They come in multiple sizes, so you can get them in smaller sheets too. I like to work larger. And the price isn't bad, a couple bucks a piece. And that's a good price when you consider with the paper pieces, you have to, for the expensive paper, it's even more money than that. But you have to flatten, and then you have curls, and then you got to mount them, and you got framing. This takes one of those steps away. It's not easy to find, I've discovered. I don't know why, but it's not, for me, easy to find. Is this a good spot for me to work, Kristen?
Yeah, that's a good spot. Somebody says, love the piece behind David Wowzers.
Thank you. It's in process right now. And I have this brand new table that I put down. And what you see me doing here is I'm checking both sides of the paper here that I'm going to use as a backing. Because one side is smoother than the other. And I like the smooth side. You can get... And I'm just trying to use it as a collector for the paint that comes over the side. Because we have this brand new MDO cover here. So here's the 20 by 30, right? And we're going to work into this piece just like we do our others. And you can see the quality of this very much like a watercolor paper. this is new. I haven't used a lot of these yet, so I'm really curious. You can see it has a different brightness than the paper. It's less bright, a little more neutral in tone. It could be good and it could be bad. We'll just find out over time.
Will you please let us get a closer look at everything around your studio? You know what? At the end, I will take you guys around on a tour.
Tour of it? Yeah, for sure.
Welcome back, Bramke. Nice to see you again.
All right, so I have my stuff. Oh, I know. Let's get this back here. It's I'm still getting used to working in here because usually I'm over here and all my stuff is right there. So yeah, I'm going to wet this down like I do a little wet and wet technique. I'm going to keep it dry in the one corner. And we'll see how it reacts with a lot of heavy water in it. I haven't done a lot of this part yet.
You want to move these out of the way?
Go for it. I didn't use them, so. I'm off screen now. So what color should I use for backing? Some cadmium yellow? You know what I'm going to do is put a glove on because this is going to get messy. And this is a cadmium watercolor that I just picked up. There. I feel more secure. So this says cadmium, and cadmium is not a great thing to get all over yourself. So I'm just going to lay this straight out of the tube. Cadmium yellow is from Cotman watercolors. I'm just going to create a little bit of yellow up in here. A little warm spot. I'm going to take the general, the big block general, and do some, wow, I love it already. Look how smooth that is. And then this is where it's dry. Still very smooth. Look at the crispness of the charcoal lines on this. Kind of an abstract motif going on. So that alone convinced me the first time that I did it. I just loved how that reacted. And here's a little bit smaller charcoal.
So that's a
piece.
watercolor yellow there?
Yes, that was the watercolor yellow. So a mixed media piece again. Some random mark making. That's the terminology all of us seem to be using right now is mark making. We're going to do some palette knife work on this. A little more water in there. So now that this is on there, if I spray it like this corner down here, for example, see how it pulls that pigment into the water.
Well, welcome back, Malorina. It's nice to have you here. And don't worry about your English. I can't speak any, I'm guessing French.
So I'm going to pull this color over and take some of that moisture out of there too in the process. Take that right off onto the floor. Onto the floor with yes. So already by pulling this first one, we've created an aged look, a patina in the piece by the charcoal moving along. Someone was asking how it stays. The paper has a unique quality that allows, that I should say, adheres to the charcoal quite a bit more than, say, canvas, straight canvas will. The canvas, it doesn't do it as well. So if I pull this and it's on a canvas that's gessoed, it tends to pull a lot more of that color off of there. So, and then of course we can take, because there's pigment left on the blade here, we can actually go back in and do a little bit of blocking. This is what everybody likes to see. I know I like to see it because it's really fascinating how quickly you can get structure in this. Okay, so unfortunately we're going to waste a little bit of material today because I just don't have enough time to. Now I'm using a small palette knife and I'm just going to manipulate some of the watercolor directly onto the piece, working within the confines of this block up here. And I'm not liking that color so much, so I'm going to blot. And now we can use the texture of this old rag, create some texture in there as we take some of the water out. And I'm also going to come back in here and I'm going to remove some of the water that's on here so we can move ahead a little more quickly. So normally I would have, 3, 4, 5 of these set up in a row on the board, and I would just move down the line, do this layer and then this layer and this layer and this layer as I go down. And then by the time I circle back around to this one, it's dried to a certain point that I want and I can work into it. But for demonstration purposes, we're not going to do that today. So let's do something fun. Here's some of the gold. This is the gold Posca.
Hold on. Let me get my cameras lined up before you get too marker happy there.
Pause for the...
There you go.
Okay, so I'm going to take and put some of the gold in here and just really work that into this section. And even though this is wet, it's still going on, right? And I like that. I like that a lot. I'm going to bring a little bit down in here, in this section here, all the way down.
That's as far as I can go. I'm attached to the computer.
Again, this is why I need to set up a little as I work. This is the Crink marker. I haven't done a review of these yet because I have only one marker from Crink. And you can see already one of the complaints I have is that the lid is hard to get off. And then when you open it, this often happens is you get a spill of the substance. Oh, I see there's some red left over from last night. Other than that, I like the workability of these Crinks. I do not, like I say, I do not like the fact that the lid is so difficult. And maybe the smaller ones are different, but this one is definitely a pain in the butt. Sorry, Crink, if you're watching, or whoever is into those things. So blocking in some more background. A lot of this will actually get covered when we do some big paint draws over it. I'm going to use crazy colors too. I've decided the crazy colors, Kristen, show up nicely when we're doing this.
Yes, they do.
So that's one of the reasons you see me often using neon, bright, highly saturated colors. I don't think I'm going to go back in with the black. Well, yeah, I will because I can't get that off.
Oh my gosh, somebody's on Twitch.
Yeah, hi on Twitch. This is a debut for us, really, to be on Twitch. We tried an experiment one the other day. So thank you for coming and checking us out. Really, really appreciate it.
Lord of Gluten.
That's funny. So we're working really hard to expand knowledge and teach and learn at the same time. Now, you can see, interesting, look at the little spread, the capillary action that happens in the moisture. If I let this dry more, this would be a very defined looking marker. But this is spreading almost like little capillaries out. It's really a neat effect. Really neat. So I'm just blocking in a little bit here. Some more structure.
Never heard of Twitch. There's a reason, because it used to be just for video game people. But they're trying to compete with YouTube now.
And IGTV.
So anybody can make a video on Twitch now, not just gamers.
So, obviously a little bit of an abstract, marginally representative because I've got a flower.
Hi people on Twitch, just to let you know, we're also simulcasting on IGTV, so I'm having two conversations.
I'm over here, sorry, I'm out of the picture probably. But
no, you're not.
I'm not? Oh, she's following me. I'm going for my Sargent paint sticks. You know what happens, has to happen. I'm not going to use that color. Let's do something completely different. I haven't even touched this one. Purple. Sargent Art Tempera Paint Sticks. It wasn't even on the list today, was it?
Nope.
Hear that sigh from my tech person? My tech person, Kristen. That's fun. You can pull the other color as you work it in. I love it. That's a really neat little spot right there. And then I'm going to just do a little bit something here. Kind of a pseudo flower.
I'm just going to come around here.
It's kind of fun.
A little closer.
And
I just love how you get the depth and the layers with these tempera paints over wet. It's just fabulous. Ron says he likes that color.
It is nice.
Or she. I'm sorry. It could be either or they. Trying to be careful.
We never know, and we're sorry about that. Yeah, and you can see you can work back into it some more. You can use your fingers. You can scrape it. So that's a new color.
That is Sargent Art. Sargent Art Tempera Sticks. Inexpensive, super fun to use.
All right, might be time to get some crazy going on in here. And you're going to ask me what this is. Somebody will. It doesn't matter.
This next thing is
this is acrylic paint, and I use the air quotes because it's cheap. I'm not even going to tell you what brand it is. I have got literally a big container full of these. This drawer is full of them, and it's leftover from a previous life. And you know, some of them have gotten so hard, they've been around so long that they actually end up kind of like paint sticks. This is apparently not one of them. I expected that to be the one with the paint that was solid in there.
It's a Julia Child oops moment.
Oopsies!
Just rinse it off and you sink.
Oh, it'll be fine. It's going to be just fine. Put a little bit over here now. I'm going to use some happy pink.
This is just cheap, crappy acrylic paint.
Yeah, I am determined to use all my crappy old paint up. And what's funny is some of the pieces are looking really interesting. But there's a lot of crappy paint that I have right now. Okay, so let's do a draw. But I love even, like, you can see me often kind of sitting here and waiting for things to happen. And one of the reasons is because we've got, I'm letting the paint kind of absorb into the paper. There we go.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Slow down. Here,
Slow down. I can't slow down.
Try to get two cameras.
I'm creating.
Oh.
You can't stop the creating. Can't stop the fire.
Is it ink? No, just really thinned out, cheap, crummy paint.
It is. This is what I was saying earlier today. Is you don't have to have brilliant stuff to create. It doesn't matter that much. And of course, we're in a time when we have access to a lot of really, really nice, like these Posca markers. These are so unusual. This wasn't around 20 years ago that I know of anyway. Or the tempera paint sticks even. And that's a fabulous way to do things. So now we're adding a little yellow there. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow down here. And normally I would have, this is a little different than some of you have seen. I usually have a palette laid out of different colors, a line of color, and then I pull the color up. It's a little bit heavier, and then I'm able to draw that color down and a little more control. This is definitely a more random approach to this process. So then I'm going to use this one and lightly pull. If you scrape this too hard, you'll lose all of your pigment.
Nope, it's not pink ink. It's just crummy paint.
Crummy acrylic paint, man. That's all it is. But look at the effects you can get with it, though. So it's just a cheap, off-brand acrylic thing, something you might buy, I don't even know where. And I'm not even going to say anywhere because then somebody will be mad with me that actually owns those stores. All right, so that was kind of fun, but I'm going to clean this off because it already got muddy.
Oh, chile.
Where's my rag? I did that line. I don't like that line, and I wish I hadn't done it, but it's all over now. It's like the Roxette song, right? It's all over.
Must have been love. That one?
That one, yes. That's
but
the one.
But it's over now.
That's the one. We're excellent musicians here. Danae will deny that. Because it's true, we're terrible. So a little bit different way to do it today. We've been doing.
Here. For our Twitch audience.
I'm going to highlight some of the, go back in now and pull. Already I like this. This is, like I said, this paper is great. It's just fabulous. Now you see what I did? I could take off that layer and highlight that place. I really like that section. And I'm going to pull a little bit off of the metallic that's over here. Changes the dynamics of that. And then I'm going to pull this over and define that edge a little better.
Shabana, it will be on the IGTV channel later today.
Yes.
So this session will be on later, so you can watch the process later if you'd like.
Yeah, it'll be. We'll have a.
It'll also be on YouTube.
Yep.
Miriam, I've written it a few times, but I can do it again. Hold on.
It's easy to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. The pink and yellow.
Okay, so I'm just picking up some of the paint over here and bringing it into the other corners that didn't quite get the coverage that I wanted. And by adding the color too, it looks like the yellow has gone behind the entire piece. So it's creating a sense of layering. I like it. It works.
Just get you back in the screen here.
The question is, do I push it a little further or do I wait? I was going to pull the green over it, but I don't think I'm going to.
That's a little muddy.
I think it'll muddy it up. And that's the thing with the cheaper quality paints. With the cheaper quality paints, you can muddy the piece really fast, and so you do have to kind of wait. It's not like a pure pigment situation, meaning like a cadmium or cobalt or one of the others that is not mixed with a lot of other types of color. Those you can layer a lot more before they turn to mud. This goes very quickly to mud, and so that is why we're going to stop here, I think, with this part of the demonstration. And then we'll just do a little bit here though first. There we go. And when this dries, I'll be able to go back in and go with markers, or maybe I don't have to. Sometimes the piece is done, you know, just by doing what I did. It could be done, I think. And now I'm in that creative mode, Kristen. All of a sudden, it's like
I saw that look on your face.
Yeah, I'm zoning in and out of where we are right now. Is that Danae?
No, I don't have legal right to use Danae.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I can't.
Get legal right? So, I thought it was.
Because when she gets famous, eventually that record company is going to say, hey, that was on that video 5 years ago. You can't use it anymore.
And we'll just cry. Oh, yeah, I see. It's not her. Sorry if I insulted you. I don't know if I like that or not, but...
Did he make before, or was it ready in market? The cheap paint? Like the clearance bin at your local shop. The name doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter. It's just, and again, the paint doesn't really matter. It's what you do with the paint that matters. I will say, if I have my druthers, if I had my preferences, I would be using probably golden. Liquitex is another favorite of mine. I'm not a huge fan of some of the other brands, and there's a lot that I haven't tried yet. But that's also where that cup of coffee, what's the name of it again?
BuyMeACoffee.com.
Buy Me a Coffee.
/David.Austin.
Yeah, so that's where it's going to help us get these other paints and try them out and demonstrate it for everybody so that you all can see, and we'll make the mistakes for you. But that's why we're doing that, so
Welcome
that we can
from
continue.
Argentina. Do we frame these under glass?
No, not usually. That being said, our gallery, one of our galleries, has done that, but I'm not. I like to see the texture of them. I don't. What I do is I will fix these, meaning with a fixative, because there's a lot of water media and charcoal in here. So we need to fix this, all right? And then after that dries, I'll come in and I'll varnish the piece after that. I use either a spray varnish, and there's a number of options for that. Golden has it, Liquitex has it, everybody's got a spray varnish. Or I'll come in and paint a varnish on. But I tend to avoid the gloss varnishes. I'm not a real fan of that.
Somebody's suggesting Nova paint.
Nova, yes. Oh, is it Betty? Betty Krause uses that a lot. She's a really talented painter. And
hi, Tom.
A few others use that too. Nova, that's a good one. I forgot about that. I haven't been able to afford to get those in to try them out yet. So if anybody's got some contacts, feel free to send them my way, and I'll try it out. So I was just doing some mark making as we've been talking, and I'm not really sure how much more I'm going to do. And I think we're getting kind of to the end of the 1 hour.
Well, I promised to do a little studio tour. So do you want to be my Vanna White?
Oh yeah, let's do that real quick.
Walk around and you can point at things.
I'm always your Vanna White, baby.
Can you ask David to shout out 3 colors? I'm stuck.
3 colors. Well, shoot. What do we got going right now? We got pink. It's radical.
Yesterday you were doing a lot with yellow.
Yellow. Pink, yellow, and a Windsor blue. Just to be completely random.
Tom says that the Novas are reasonably priced, so maybe we'll have to check them out again. It's been a while.
Yeah, I think they are. It's just one of those things I just haven't been able to get them yet. Like I said, I'm trying to dig my way through the paint supply.
All of the old paint.
Yes, that's why you keep seeing these old crappy paint.
All of the old paint.
We're trying to dig through this old supply so I can justify more spending of money. So yeah. And I really don't like what I did there. I'll come back in later and do something with that. So yeah, you can almost pivot around the whole thing.
I'm gonna have to because I got the other camera. So I can't
you got the other one?
Yeah, I can't.
All right, this will be interesting when you gotta go. Maybe we'll go that way, and then I'll come back around and we'll go this way.
Yeah, that could work.
Instead of you trying to do a 360 degree. So anyway, this is David Austin, and that's my lovely wife Kristen. DavidAustinGallery.com. Please feel free to support us on buying me a piece of paper. No,
buymeacoffee.com/David.Austin. The link is in our Linktree bio on our Instagram bio.
And you'll get this free coffee. No, you
don't get anything free.
It's
For
NPR.
$3, you can support this great programming.
Exactly. We got to study up on NPR now. And so back here, we made a lot of changes in here. In my cabinets, I have a lot of different art supplies, and some of that you may not be able to see. Pens, papers, some bulk of charcoal. So pencils that I hardly use, markers, rollers, extra Posca markers, things like that.
You too, Tom. Have a great day.
See you guys. And so this is a different, some bulk supplies here that are left over, some random stuff, some latex paints down here. The ceramic studio is back here, which you can actually get to now, which is phenomenal. This is a painting that's going to be featured later today, I hope. We're going to talk about that one. And then this is another piece that I'm working on here. And we have the shipping corner, so the stuff we use for shipping is in here. This is a lot of miscellaneous materials, from gloves to other things. Underneath is paper supply, so a lot of different paper supplies and hardboard, things like that, canvases. And then back here, some of you may be able to see is some of the other canvas work that we have. And normally I actually do, because I don't have to lean over, I normally do my collages on that bench there.
Are you for hire organizing studios?
Anything for price, I suppose. So I can barely keep myself organized. Oh, Kristen was in there. Okay, so over here we have this.
Hold on, I'm not there yet.
Oh, come on, you got to do this because this is a unique. This is probably the most unique and silly.
Vanna has to slow down.
Vanna is ADHD. I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. You've got another camera over there.
I know, I'm moving. Give me a second. My hands are so cold, I can't even feel the handle.
Great, now we're going to have another camera operator in here. It's going to get to that point, the lights and things. Maybe, we'll see. So this is really interesting, okay? This is actually a shoe organizer, and I bet you some of you knew that already. But I organized, the Galleria is another paint I like a lot from Winsor Newton. And actually, I didn't mention this, I forgot. The Galleria paints. I like the fluid nature of it. It's very, very smooth, and it layers nicely. So those are all in here. They have their own home, and some of the brushes. This was in my mom's. This was in our cottage when my mom was alive in here, and we were going to toss it out. And I'm like, no way, man. That's going to organize. So that's hanging off of the top here. Really great way. I can slide it down if I need to use it somewhere else. This is our main area. So this is all hardware. A place in the hardware store in the area was getting rid of these. I couldn't believe I have more. And I got them really cheap. So these are all plastic organizing drawers from there. And it can tell you exactly which screw is in there. But it's all paint now. So brushes organized here. My rag bin. I really have gotten a lot better organized. That's all the stuff for the boat.
That we no longer have.
Well, so anyway, that's another story. So, and then things are set up here where I can get to them pretty quickly. And then an easel in front of the door where I will often stage pieces. But the problem with this easel, oh, it's stuck to it, Kristen.
That's unusual.
It's disturbing. The thing with the easel here. Oh, I know why. Oh no!
Did it leak on it?
Well, that's part of that painting now.
Oh dear.
Oh, there was paint on the back of this. Well, that changed the image.
That's what you call an oops.
Yeah, that's I don't even know if I can call that a happy accident.
No, that's too bad. It really doesn't fit the piece at all.
Anyway, that was a mistake I made apparently yesterday. I didn't realize it as I was working on this one. And then of course again we're back to this side here. So that's that, everyone. So do I go this way and we say goodbye?
Sure.
Everybody's leaving already anyway, probably.
No, actually,
we got a few people checking out.
Still have a lot of people here, actually.
Great. Okay, so that concludes today. However, I would like to say, please, in the comments somewhere, post what you'd like to see us demonstrate next time. We would love to do that. Today, the collages happened because somebody wanted to see collages, and that's really great. Previous week, we did glazing. I brought in the paper thing that I wanted to show you to see. Oh, that's interesting. It's actually curling a little bit, so the moisture is working its way in.
We'll give you updates on how this board dries.
Yeah, we'll see on this one. The other one that I worked was down here, and I did it much thinner. Whoops. This was a little not as wet. So when I did this one, it held up very fine. You can see the piece. We're learning about the quality of this piece. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked. Squirrel. So let us know what you want to see. We'd love to demonstrate other things. If you want to see something else about the studio, we'll do that. Stay tuned because we do the little mini ones. Portraits? Wow, that goes back into old school for me, though.
Did you see that deer and headlight look?
Yeah. I haven't done portraits in a very long time.
Well, Bella wants mark making, so what about gestural portraits?
Yeah, I could maybe do that. It's been a long time since I've done any representational abstract. And I was just thinking because I just moved a series of 5 paintings into the back. Those 5 figurative ones that I had out here. They're bigger pieces on canvas, I think, acrylic, and maybe we'll show that. We'll think about that. That's an interesting thought. Okay, what else, Kristen?
As I am still running the IG10, save 10% on the website in the cart, and that applies to art as well as apparel. buymeacoffee.com/David.Austin for just $3. You can help support these little videos.
Or as much as you want to add in there.
Yeah,
really.
you can do as much as you want, but you can it's just $3 you have, and $3 is great.
We had an exciting thing. We shipped the painting to Vancouver this week.
Yes, we did. That was so
cool. Bigger piece. Not a real big piece, but it was one of the bigger ones we've shipped recently. It's been a while. I've shipped 8 by 6 foot, 8 foot by 6 foot before, and 5 foot pieces. But that was years ago when I was in the previous incarnation of my art career. Anyway.
I think that's it. I think that covers everything.
We've telemarketed as much as we can today. We got to clean this up. We got to rescue the teenager upstairs. I have to hang out. I don't have to, but I get to hang out with my 3-year-old son the rest of the day while Kristen works on all of the content to get it up online for you. It's been awesome painting and doing collage with you. I really love the fact that you were creating when I was creating. That was just awesome, and I can't wait to do that again with you. Check back with us. Remember, every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we may have a surprise live here and there. We're not going to plan those out because we just...
It's the way life goes.
We have life. So, take care, everybody. Be kind to each other. Spread the kindness, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.